Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we are going to completely demystify the Fidelity mobile interface and walk you step by step through executing your very first call option. If you've ever opened up your brokerage app and just felt totally overwhelmed by all the data, the Greeks, and the endless menus, well, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down the exact operational framework you need to successfully navigate this really powerful platform. Look, the mobile interface, it can feel like an absolute labyrinth to beginners. But instead of just clicking buttons and hoping for the best, we're going to treat this explainer like a flight simulator to keep you safe. We'll go through exactly how to buy, how to sell, and how to avoid the hidden traps that catch so many new traders off guard when they're tapping away on a mobile device. I love this quote. A fast thumb and a wide spread are an expensive combination. That literally hits the nail on the head. As our source material brilliantly points out, jumping into this app without a clear plan carries very real financial risks. You know, your thumbs move incredibly fast on a smartphone screen, but in options trading, a single accidental tap on the wrong order type or the wrong side of the trade, that can cost you dearly. So we're here to make sure that just doesn't happen to you.
Here is our flight plan for today. First, set up for options trading. Second, finding the option chain. Third, buying your first call. Fourth, closing the option position. And finally, crucial risks to avoid.
All right, let's start with part 1, setup for options trading, our pre-flight checklist. We're going to dive right into what you actually need to get cleared to trade.
Now, this is actually pretty surprising for most beginners. To buy a simple call, you only need Tier 1 approval. A lot of new traders kind of assume they need these complex margin accounts to get started, but under Fidelity's current 3-tier system, Tier 1 is entirely sufficient for buying long calls. You don't even need a margin agreement. You can do this in standard cash accounts or even IRAs. You basically just submit an options application detailing your financial profile and your experience, and you get approved for this baseline tier.
But before you even think about trading, our sources highly recommend customizing your interface. If you've been using the app as of late June 2026, you know the layout has gone through some pretty massive redesigns. So to streamline things and speed up your workflow, head into your settings. You're going to want to disable that multi-page summary view, customize your home screen widget so you can actually see your orders, and most importantly, activate Trader Plus mode. It's in beta, but it's a total game changer. It turns the app into a much more focused, data-rich trading experience.
Moving on to part 2, finding the option chain, navigating the labyrinth. With our account all set up, let's locate the actual option chain without getting lost in the menus. So Fidelity has a few different navigation paths depending on how you've got your layout set, but the absolute cleanest workflow right now? It's just a simple 3-step process. First, hit the global search magnifying glass and type in the ticker symbol of the underlying stock you want to trade. Once you land on that stocks overview page, look way up in the top right corner. You're going to see an icon that looks like a literal chain link. Tap that and boom, you are instantly looking at the options chain, beautifully filtered out into calls and puts. Okay, part 3, buying your first call, the takeoff sequence. You found the chain, so let's walk through the exact mechanics of taking off and initiating your first bullish directional strategy.
Wait, before you tap anything on that chain, I need you to engrave this crucial number into your brain. 100. One standard option contract acts as a control switch for exactly 100 shares of the underlying stock, right? This is where your leverage comes from. So, if an option premium says $3.85, you're not paying $3.85. You got to multiply that by 100. Your actual cash requirement out of pocket for that single contract is $385. Never forget the multiplier.
The source material absolutely hammers this point home. You need to use limit orders over market orders so you don't get destroyed by the bid-ask spread. Think about it. When you use a market order on your phone, you're basically telling the app, hey, just buy this right now at whatever price the market is asking. And trust me, with options, those spreads can be incredibly wide, and you will almost certainly overpay. A limit order, on the other hand, dictates your exact boundary. You're demanding a specific price or better. It is your ultimate risk control for your entry.
All right, here is your exact step-by-step flight path. If you follow this sequence, you'll ensure you're properly establishing a new long position. On the chain, pick your expiration date and your strike price, then tap the ask price. Next, you must verify the action says exactly buy to open. Then enter how many contracts you want. Honestly, starting with just one is best, and make sure your order type is set to limit. Finally, set your custom limit price somewhere near the midpoint of the bid-ask spread and hit preview order.
Now, I want you to deliberately slow down right here. The preview screen is your absolute final safety net.
It's your last chance to catch a fat finger mistake before you're firing live ammo. Look really closely at the estimated debit, the fees, and that calculated maximum loss. For a beginner who is just buying a long call, your maximum loss is strictly capped at the premium you're paying. If that number looks weird or way too high, stop, hit back, do not proceed until that preview screen perfectly matches your plan.
Which brings us to part 4, closing the option position. The landing sequence. Getting into a trade is really only half the battle. Knowing exactly how to get out is what actually secures your capital.
So this is a super crucial point because beginners mix these up all the time. You must use sell to close to safely exit your trade. If you try to exit by selecting sell to open, you'll accidentally try to create a brand new, incredibly risky short position, which, by the way, the app might just block anyway if you're only on tier 1. So always remember, you bought to open, so you gotta sell to close.
To do this on mobile, navigate over to your accounts and jump into your active positions. Tap the exact active option contract you want to liquidate, and then hit Trade. Now, be extremely vigilant here. Users have reported that the app occasionally defaults to Buy to Open by mistake when initiating a trade from this specific screen, so make absolutely sure the ticket reads Sell to Close. Set your limit price, and remember, you're pricing the contract itself here, not the underlying stock. Then simply preview it and submit it to land the plane safely.
Finally, part 5, crucial risks to avoid. Our emergency protocols. You know how to buy and sell now, but to actually survive options trading, you have to understand the market's strict rules.
Okay, we really need to understand the concept of being in the money, or ITM, because it triggers a massive risk on expiration day. For a call option, being in the money simply means the current stock price has risen above your chosen strike price, which is a good thing, right? It means your contract has real intrinsic value. But on expiration day, that value turns into a strict mechanical obligation if you aren't paying close attention.
Here is the big catch. If you just let a winning trade ride to Friday without closing it yourself, Fidelity will automatically exercise any contract that is in the money by just one single penny. That happens right at 4 p.m. Eastern on expiration Friday. Suddenly, the system is going to require you to purchase 100 shares of the stock per contract. And if you don't have tens of thousands of dollars sitting in cash to support that purchase, your unfunded account is going to face a margin violation, or Fidelity might unilaterally force liquidate your position earlier in the afternoon just to protect themselves. Seriously, always close your positions before expiration.
We're going to leave you with this golden rule. Practice these steps carefully, customize your interface, and please, never trade blindly. Fidelity explicitly requires all traders to read the official OCC disclosure document about the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Listen, it is not just legal boilerplate. It's literally your survival manual. So having seen the exact step-by-step framework to navigate this powerful mobile tool, are you ready to plan your trades with precision, or are you just going to let a fast thumb dictate your financial future?